Hey guys, so I am going to do a quick, hopefully quick drawing that I'm going to try to talk through here. This is my little mini Copic sketchbook. Some of you who follow me may have seen it before. It's got various color sketches in here. They started off black and white, I moved to color. It's 3.5 by 5.5. It's a moleskin. I'll put a link in the video if anybody's interested in buying these. These are, in my opinion, the best sketchbooks on the market. And I think it's not just my opinion, probably in the opinion of many artists out there. These are kind of the standard when it comes to sketchbooks. The paper is really thick. It's perfect for marker. It's a great texture. And once they're complete, they're bound and they're really nice to hold on to. So they make a good keepsake. In any case, for me, I don't have a ton of time to draw, so when I do draw, I like it to be in a sketchbook that is of high quality. That way, I feel like it's worth the that limited time that I've got, instead of using a cheaper sketchbook where the paper might get damaged or wear away over time. Okay, enough about the sketchbook. So what I've got here is I've basically got an idea for drawing. It's going to be an angry Superman. Even though I prefer my Superman cheerful, I think angry looks cooler. Maybe that's why Batman v Superman turned out the way it did. In any case, these are the colors that I figure I'm going to want to use. I just basically grabbed a bunch of Copics. So these are mostly Copics. I've got a couple other cheap markers in there that I just happen to have because I didn't have the right Copic. And basically tried to figure out what the colors I wanted to use were. So this is the palette. So I've put all the colors down with the corresponding color number so that later on when I'm drawing I can compare it to the page and not have to guess about the color, because you don't want to put the color down on the page when it's wrong. Alright, so I'm going to start off with just an H pencil. I'm using an H pencil because it's very light. That way when I erase it later it will hopefully not show. And then I'll ink in red Copic multiliner. So this one, the reason I'm using red is because there's going to be a lot of red in the actual art. So I figure I might as well use red so it won't stick out as much as the black. I can always go over it with black later. And the great thing about these Copic multiliners is that they do not smear with ink. So I can not worry too much about putting lines down and getting them smudged later. Okay, so let's get started. So first I'm going to try to figure out the proportions of the face. So I think I'm going to do basically an angry Superman kind of glaring. I've seen similar drawings from first person, of course, that comes to mind is Jim Lee. He's a fantastic artist. And if you've followed any of my stuff, you know it's heavily influenced by him, as is probably half the artists online. Alright, so the important thing here is to get the proportions of the face right. So I'm not going to put any ink down or anything until I know the proportions are right. A lot of people just jump right into the details and you end up with a lot of strange proportions and drawing that might be shaded and colored really nicely. It just does not look right. So we don't want to make that mistake. Okay, so basically I'm trying to figure out what the eyes will go around here. His head is tilted downwards a bit, because I want him to be kind of looking through his brows up. Looks more menacing. So because of that, the eyes will be down here. If his head was looking up, the eyes would have been up a bit. Okay, and his nose will be about here. His mouth will be about here, and I can already see that this proportion is wrong, so I'm going to have to fix his chin here, and I'll bring the chin down a bit. Because he is Superman, so he can't have a tiny little chin. Okay. So, very important to have things symmetrical. You don't want to have one eye here and one eye up there. That's going to look awful. Now, sometimes in my digital videos, I'll use the symmetry tool. I use it mostly because it kind of looks cool and it makes for a good video. And then I'll always get comments on those posts that, oh, nobody's perfectly symmetrical, this is cheating. Well, yeah. Nobody's perfectly symmetrical, but typically when you're drawing, you can try to make it as symmetrical as possible, knowing that it's impossible to make it perfectly symmetrical. So those little errors can actually help make the drawing actually better sometimes. Definitely, as far as the digital stuff goes, you know, that's just for fun. That's just to look cool. It's not really meant to be something that's handed in as a test or something. All right, so I think, yeah, so I want to thicken up his jaw down here a bit. Okay. Move his eye up a bit because I want it to be covered more with the brow. Okay. Feel free, if you've got a ruler or something, to use that. Try to find anchor lines, right? So here, like the middle of his eye aligns kind of with the end of his lip here. So you can look over here and you kind of want it in the same place. It's the nose, edge of the nose here. Yeah, I can already see the nose is off by a bit, so I'm going to bring it in a bit over here. And then that should line up better now. All right. So get some shadows in there, I think. All right, so I want basically the light will be coming from a couple different places in this. I'm going to have light coming in from the sides and also light coming from his actual eyes. Okay. All right. So because his head is looking down, his ears will actually be a bit higher. So when you tilt your head down, your ears basically move up. Position your head. If he was looking up, the ears would be at the bottom. If he was looking straight, the ears would be down over here. But he is got his head tilted down and he's looking up. I never know which way to part Superman's hair. Is it right or left? I don't know. So I'm going to just go this way here. Let's get that. Okay. Hoping this actually shows in the video. If anybody's wondering about the setup, I've just got an iPhone basically that's recording this. It's above my it's on one of those adjustable arms, and it's just anchored to a shelf next to me, and it is just sitting above my hands while I draw. I actually have an Android. I have a Galaxy phone as well. It's easier, but even though that one's actually got a better camera, it's a real pain in the butt to get the stuff off of it. So I actually prefer just to use the iPhone because I can just airdrop it straight to my Mac and be done the video in a fraction of the time. With the Android phone, it just it's temperamental. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it can take me hours to get a video off of it, especially if it's large. Okay, all right. So let's take a look here. So you want basically the ears. I just eyeball this, you know. I don't actually use a ruler because I'm too lazy, so I'll just use a pencil. You just want to make sure the top of the ears here, top of the ears there are in the same place. You want to basically bring your pencil or your ruler down in a parallel line and make sure things are aligned with each other. So you don't want the mouth bent that way and the eyes bent that way. And that happens. If you don't check, it's very easy to happen. I do it all the time. So, you know, even here I can see my mouth is just a bit off. So I'm going to do this. I'll need to bring it down a bit more on this side. All right. So I'm going to do a bunch of shadows over here. He's going to have shadows over there. There, this whole area is going to be in shadows. Dark shadow down the middle of his nose. So he's going to have a light source here, so basically this area here will be lit, and then I'm going to just put the same light source on the other side of his face, because everybody likes symmetry. Because of that, you'll have some lighting on his neck here. And then I'm going to go really high contrast and put a lot of dark shadows. Okay. All right. right. I'm just going to lift this up and look at it from a different angle. Okay. I think my sizing is off by a bit here. Check that size. Yeah, it's off. All right. So basically, his head is a bit too wide, so I'm going to bring this in. Let's bring that in. And then I have to bring this ear in now. Because I did that, I have to now double check and make sure. So basically, I want things like the corners of his chin to be aligned, right? So you need the chin to be all aligned. Okay, yeah, that looks better. Make sure you get the hair. Okay. And those are like little details that are sometimes very hard to notice. So you gotta be careful before you go all in and start laying down ink. You need that stuff to be right. Okay, I think we're good, and we'll look at it again. It's always good to look at your stuff from different angles. In case anybody's wondering, it's Black Panther on that side. But okay, let's get back to his. Okay. All right. Now, I think I can start to put down a bit of ink. I'm gonna just drink some of my coffee. All right. This is, I find the first line is the scariest. Because that first line can often dictate the entire drawing. So I usually start off with the eyes, but I'm gonna start off with the nose this time. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Ah, it's ruined. Keep going anyways. All right. So you can see I'm trying to keep my lines symmetrical. I find it helps to do the opposites continuously. I can put a ton of detail in here because I'm going to rely on the actual colors when they go down to do a lot of that for me. Not a big fan of drawing ears. I always try to give it a bit of shape, never just do them just super round. Also try to make them a bit symmetrical once again. All right. Okay. Okay. This is cape. This area is going to end up being really dark, so don't need to be super concerned with what I put in that space. Okay. The fact that I've got the camera up there is, oh man, I screwed up. Yeah, the camera up there kind of gets in the way of my head. So it's actually quite a bit harder for me to actually draw and film than it would be just to draw. Which is definitely one of the challenges of trying to do these videos. All right. Okay, just debating whether I should use, I'm going to just use a gray marker for the hair, since I'm not going to be coloring the hair in red. Don't think, at least 0.5. All right. You know what? I'm not digging this gray. Let's just go straight black with the hair. I think that'll be safer. Okay. Superman's curl is always a challenge. Okay. So it needs to look like it actually is a real curl, not just something that got glued on afterwards. Okay, so that hair needs to keep going in that direction. All right, that's not looking the best. I'll have to deal with that later. Okay. All right. Just gonna crosshatch a bit here, even though I know a lot of this is gonna get covered up later anyways, but will help me make certain decisions later when I'm doing the shading. This whole area is going to be really dark, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. I'm doing all these veins popping out of the neck because it adds a lot of tension to the drawing. Okay. All right. I think I've got some more. Okay. Oh boy. All right. Okay. So now I'm going to erase the pencil. Uh-oh. And my batteries are low. All right. Basically, I want to make sure I get the pencil out of the areas where it might show, because I might leave them light. Not too concerned with some of the other areas. Okay. Some compressed air. That might actually help. Okay. So right now this is just kind of the base lines where some of the inks are going to go. Okay. Copics over here. It's all right. So this is an E00. This is like the lightest color I've got. So this will basically go down all over the skin. Especially the parts that I know aren't going to have shadows on them. Yeah, that chisel tip's not working so great, so I'm going to have to switch over to the brush tip. One of the great things about these Copics is they just blend so well. So you can get these nice solid areas of color that are very difficult to achieve with other markers. Okay. So I'm going to go, let's see. Just trying to decide if I should go straight to the darks. You know, whatever. Oh, I'm going to be brave. I'm going to go straight to the darks and then do all the in-betweens. And as I'm doing this, I just realized I didn't put any protective paper underneath, so let's it's too small. So off screen, I'm just looking for paper here. So with this underneath, as you can see, there's a bit of ink coming through. I don't want to ruin the paper here, so it's always good to have this in between. Okay. All right, let's do this. So the shadow right underneath the nose, certain area right underneath the eye. Now I'm going to have actually light coming out of his eyes. I don't want to put too much there. This area here, underneath the lip, and then over here. This is actually going to probably go even darker. This is not dark enough, but I can at least do some of this. All right. Okay, and I'm going to put some shadow here. Center of his head. So this is, let me double check. This is the R89. Just if you look here, it actually looks much darker than it is here. So it's a little disappointing that it's coming out so much lighter. I'm going to have to go over it later, something else to darken it. No. Maybe in the future I should just rip out one of the pages from these Copic sketchbook, that way I get an exact match. Basically, you want to find a paper that's similar, but as you can see, this is white. Which is even more reason why I'm surprised it's darker on the white, but you want to test paper that's similar. So I think I need to find some better paper to test on. Okay. All right, so that's gonna. This part here is always a little scary. Again, trying to be symmetrical. All right. Okay. All right, let me go to the R46. R46. All right, this is coming out too red. This is not working. Okay. Here's my E19. All right, let's try this instead. Oh, what just happened there? Oh, wow. Got a crazy blot. That usually doesn't happen. Not sure what's going on. Well, that stinks. Oh, man. All right, that totally messed up my nose. I'm going to have to try to figure out how to fix that later. Oh, boy. Not cool. Oh, come on. All right. Let's just put some of this ink down here. Man, why did that have to happen around the nose? All right. I'm not sure how I'm going to fix that. I'll have to deal with that later. All right. I almost never use the chisel tip because I don't like it. I guess I'm stuck with it for this color. Yeah, this nose got messed up pretty bad now, unfortunately. It's going to be tough to fix this. That's okay. That's what happens. So you can see here it's way too narrow. I did not want it to be that narrow. Okay. All right, E13. Hopefully this doesn't do the same thing. Try to blend this in. And go over that hair later, so it's not a big deal. I actually forgot to use this here. Okay. Oh, man. Okay. Okay, so that was an E13. Get the E11. And I forgot to use E13 over here. Move the color around the edges here. Okay. This is an R00. This is going to give like a pink sheen. I'm going to start to work some of this in around the eyes. Oh, and that's not even showing at all. So, all right, maybe I'll put down there. Yeah, the chisel tip did not work well here. Okay. Yeah, this isn't doing much. Let's get rid of that marker completely. Okay, this should get interesting now. So I'm going to try to basically put a little bit of redness around where the eyes are. Basically like this idea of his veins all lighting up, all the energy. Might have done this already in my last tutorial, but I like it, so I'll do it again. Alright, so we can put a color here. See this idea that all this energy is being directed out of his eyes, so you'd want to show some of that color shining through. Okay, number 29. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color the eyes in red now, and then I'll add the highlights afterwards. Maybe I'll leave the center white still. Okay. All right, let's see how dark this one is. So this is a touch marker. These are some actual cheap markers I picked up in China last year. They're super cheap. And they're actually not terrible. They probably blot like crazy, so I would never use these for fine details. But if you want to just put some color down on a page quickly, they do actually go on pretty smoothly. So in that sense, I'm not too disappointed. Now, I don't know if you order these off of like Alibaba or anything like that, if there's any kind of consistency to them. With a Copic, you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to get something that's the exact color you're expecting, or at least it's being advertised, or at least if you order the same marker again, it'll match exactly with the one before it. With these, I have no idea. Maybe the next one in red comes out blue for all I know. But they're great as just backup markers to have for those colors that are missing, without relying too much on the actual shade. All right, I'm going to need to do a bit of detail with this because the other ones are drying way too light. Let's try to be careful. Okay, let's get that colored. That's one thing I found too, is these markers sometimes, especially the Copics, they can dry lighter. So don't be afraid to go dark, because once they dry, they'll actually come out lighter than maybe you wanted. Okay. All right. You know what? It's dark over here. Okay. Back to my R89. Where is that R89? 19. Oh, all right, R89. And let's blend some of this back in. Okay. Let's keep it too dark. So I have to blend it in with what's above it to try to make it not feel as dark. Let's just color this whole thing in. Okay. These other shades all look too light now. All right, let's go back to my 00. Let's put a bit more color over here. It's so light that when it dries, it's like almost like it's not even there. Because the color of this paper's actually got a similar shade. All right, so I've got this warm 9. I didn't want to go to a, so this is like basically a warm black or warm gray, but well, at a 9 it's almost black. So I don't want to go to like a cool color for the hair because it'll be just too much contrast. I'm trying to keep everything warm since I want this to evoke heat. And everybody knows that cool colors evoke cold, which is obvious. I'm just going to go solid here because let's get it all filled in. Okay. I guess I should put a bit on his eyebrows. Probably should have done this at the end because I don't want to accidentally blend those in. Okay, yeah, definitely regret doing that. I'll fix that up at the end. Okay. All right. There's my R46 for his cape. I'm going to just color the entire cape in this color and then go darker with the shadows. This is coming out lighter than I wanted it to. Okay. Oh, is this the blotchy one? Alright, whatever, I'll give it a second chance. Don't blotch. All right. Just the top part of his logo showing down there. Okay. And I'm actually going to just go over this now to try to tie these two together. So I basically I'm going over the warm with the R89 here, this dark red. And then let's just put this down here. It's got a bit of a hint of DS. Okay. Use some of this pink around the inside of the. No, that's not good enough. Let me try to find a true pink. Not crazy about that. Let's try a different pink. Yeah, that's better. I'm going to add some white on top of this later to bring it out more. All right. So this is showing me I need to go darker. All right, so let's just get this. All right. No, my phone is now telling me it's got low battery. Hoping it lasts. So I'll try to keep an eye on it. If the video cuts out, if all of a sudden I jump forward, it's because I did not keep an eye on it and the battery died. Just gonna put some red onto here too, because I want the picture to all have a similar tone. Okay. Okay. 19. This needs to be a bit darker. Blend it in with this. A bit of shadow on this jaw here to give it a bit of more shape. Over here too. Okay, let's go back to my E00. Where is it? Okay, Did I mean R00? Did I write the wrong number down? No. All right, sure, whatever. Let's try to put a bit more shading around the edges here because it's looking at way too flat. There we go. Yeah, that's good. One thing you do whenever you have a lighter color, you can always blend the darker colors underneath with it. Pretty much any light color can work for a blender. It won't go full force, but it will do a bit of blending. Okay, now for that hair. Try this warm 5. I'm going to go back over some of this with black a little bit. All right. I'll try something I wasn't planning to try. So I can't find my C9, which is what I would use if I had it. Look a little bit more. No. All right, so I've got these Prismacolors. They're not bad. They're pretty good. They're not quite as good as the Copics, but that's what I've got. I was planning to do the background all black, but I'm worried if I go black on the background, it'll make all the stuff look too light. So I'm going to go for, instead of dark, cool gray. They'll hopefully bring out the reds in the foreground. Oh, I wish I just had a slightly darker. Nope. Let's just. I do have a Copic Cool 7. Let me just try this first. If it's similar in darkness, then I don't need to use the Prismacolor. Yeah, this will do. All right, so let's. Okay. Okay. Man, these markers are great. Except for when they block. Okay. So I think I'm going to leave a tiny little bit of white around the hair, just to make them stand out. Okay. Now, let me just go over with this one here, because I do think it's a tiny bit darker just at the bottom. Just to give a bit more depth. And then just a bit more to blend it all. There. Okay. Let's look through. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. I think I'll need those again. It's funny, these little drawings often take longer than the larger ones for me. I'm not sure if that's normal. That's been my experience. Okay. Okay. This is W9. I was planning to do this in black, but I'm a bit nervous. If I do it in black, it'll all of a sudden make everything else look way too light. So maybe I'll just stick with this Worm 9, which is almost black. Dark gray. I like to do his curls kind of messy. It's not just one perfect little curl. It's just a bunch of hair. Okay, now let's get some white. So this here is a jelly roll marker. I get tons of questions on these. I'll have a link for you in the video. And they're on my shop, which is also linked in the video. These things are awesome. You should totally pick up a few. I think I might actually put some yellow on top of that. Which I might regret. This is scary. All right, I need more pale yellow. A lot of these yellows end up looking kind of green, so looks like the first one's actually better. All right, wish me luck. Okay, and let's put that white back right in the middle there to kind of. Okay, so now I need really bright red, which I don't know if I have. All right, let's count these. back some of that red. Okay. More pink. Oh, it's not showing. All right. So I wish I had something a bit lighter than this I could use. Just looking through some other markers here now to see if there's something that compares. Let's try this one here. No, this might have to be it. Yeah. This is a Studio Series marker. These are also pretty good. They're similar to the Chinese. They're actually maybe a bit better than Chinese ones that I'm using, but they're actually not a bad deal. They're probably about a third or a quarter of the price of the Copics. They're not refillable like the Copics are, but they are pretty good markers. So it's, you know, if you don't want to invest in Copics, these ones might be worth picking up. You can get a box of them for like, I think 24 markers for $30 or less even. And once again, there'll be a link, so check out the link. Check them out. They're definitely not a bad choice. Okay. Okay. Now this whole area here is not dark enough, so I need to go back in here and adjust. 713. So let me just get this whole area darker. Still not dark enough. E13. Can I go this darker? Back to my E19 here. Doesn't blot. And then blend. Okay. All right, I might have to call it a day soon. About to run out of battery. Let's clean this all up. Okay. Let's just get this going around. Clean up these edges a bit. Wish I didn't put the black over his eyes. I'll blend that in a bit with this. Oh man, this is the blotchy one. Oh man, I just noticed a mistake in his eyes. Oh, I can't fix that now. Okay. All right. I think that is going to be it. Let's do one last adjustment here. All right. Okay. I'll call that a day. That took way longer than I planned it to, but hopefully it was worth watching. All right, guys, if anybody's got any questions, just ask me on the actual comments section. And if you'd like to see more of these, please let me know. And if you like this, please give it a like and subscribe if you're not subscribed. I don't post super often, so you will not get bombarded. But hopefully when I do post, it'll at least be worth checking out. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. And that's a wrap.